quick, so I feel like I'll just do a couple more while I'm at it. These ones were C Sharp related, so I'm not going to cover them because I don't think there's much interest in C Sharp. But this one I'll do next, Glacier Top News. This was a challenge that we needed to find a way to get some sensitive information out of a Python server. And so I can't remember exactly what the wording was, but I did keep the URL and I think it's still active. So that's from our last one. We'll just put it into our birth tool here. I'll turn on intercept. Whoops. That's lucky it caught it. So what is this? This is a response though. So I missed the GET request, but this is returning the HTML. So it's gonna, looks like it's gonna be a blog. There's some CSS. This looks like Bootstrap stuff. Anything interesting? There's a URL unavailable. Probably actually means unavailable, so don't bother clicking it. Some other stuff. Sometimes this is important, like if you read the stuff in here, it might give you clues to things. I actually ended up not reading it, but yeah, sometimes they put, in these challenges, they might put some clues in some of the stuff. So here we go. Got a burning interest story for us. This is a submit, confirm. So you probably get bugged a couple times, and then it will send a GET request to a confirm. To the confirm endpoint with, I don't know what though, because it's GET. So that's odd. Place here a URL for automatically parsing a news article class. Key up form URL. Okay. So the URL is probably interesting. An example. URL, anything else? I'm just going to go through this pretty quick. I don't think there's anything else, if I remember right. No, and then just some scripts. So we'll send that to the, what's this? This is request to, it's another request. I'll just forward that on. This is a response. We just saw it, and so hopefully it pops up here. There we go. What is this? This is response from Quill. Okay, I don't care about this because this is a CDN. So don't intercept response from this host because I'm not interested. Because I don't need this getting blocked up. So here we have the blog, some information, yada yada yada. Place a URL here for automatic parsing. Let's just use this one, HTTP. 2011, 12, hit enter. Are you sure you want to submit this post? There's nothing in it, but okay. Are you really sure? This is the links. Yeah, sure, why not? What are we doing? We're gonna post get resources. Okay, I didn't see this in the code, but this is definitely our URL, so that's this one. And I will forward that on, and then we'll get, so I guess because I submitted the form, we're also gonna get this confirm. I forward that on. So this is the response from get resources. Guess which of these titles? So like we have a full, looks like a full web page. I don't want to go through that, that's pretty long. So I'm just gonna forward that. Oh, look at that, it just populates it. Got an author, some image stuff down here. Okay, so that's interesting. I wonder, I mean, that's reading a website from somewhere, so there's probably something unique about it. What's this? Response from confirm 404 not found. Okay, so the form actually doesn't do anything. It's just a placeholder. So this is gonna turn this into a 404 error. So let's take me home. Forward that along. Okay, so we have this URL. One thing, okay, so that's interesting. We checked out the website. Luckily, again, for this one, they gave us the source code, so which I think is kind of cool because you don't have to spend time like looking for source code or trying to figure stuff out. So again, it's a zip file, and they've given us a bunch of things. If I take a look at the Docker file, I don't know what that does, but it looks like this is probably something related to Python. So we'll just say it's running a Python server in some respect. I don't know Python that well. Docker compose, so it takes the Docker file and it has a flag.environment, so probably something in the environment file is what we're looking for. Okay, so that's a good hint. So somewhere in the environment, an environment variable is probably what we want. Where's the flag? They give us so this is an example of it. So work zoop hidden flag, work zoop. I wonder what that means. Notes is me. Let's go into the challenge folder. Manifest. This is probably something Python related. I don't know. Setup config. What is that? Okay, something server related. Web server for Glacier. Is it DB? Oh, actually, there's not a DB. That's my thing I dumped here. Getpip.py is something I also dumped. So we can just ignore those. The requirements. It's a Flask server. It's using Python jot tokens. And okay, that's how it sets up. So let's go into the web server. Init main API. I think init, actually don't know what init is, but I feel like it's not important. No, it's not. Let's see what main has to say. It sounds important. So prepare environment. So this is generating some secret, and it's encoding the admin's jot token with that secret, and then it's going to set up the database with it. So I probably need to remember that. Database, set up here. Glacier web server utils.database. So why don't I go and check that out? So utils, yeah. So we have a class filter. I want database, class database. Okay. So what was it? Oops. Database, setup database. So this one, drop table if it exists, create table with admin jot as a primary key. And if not, load secret, select from one, return secret. Okay, so if it creates a table with a column jot secret, if there's nothing, if there's no secrets in it, then load the admin secret that was initialized on startup. So another one where there's like one record in the database. Cool. That's good to know. And then prepares the environment before first run, and it runs. That is pretty straightforward, even though I don't know Python, but I can get that. Let's check out the API. So we're filtering, we're requiring jot. So there seems to be an endpoint for gets, or a function gets system info for key. So this seems to publish environment variables. So this looks like a good function that we're going to try to want to run. So let's see where that gets called. Looks like it's getting called here, API system info. You have to send a post to this endpoint and you'll get it. So why don't we try that? Let's just intercept something here. Send to the repeater. We want to send a post to API system resources, I think. System info, whoops. It's going to run this, require jot, I think. I think that's what that means. This is a decorator, so it runs it, and then it will, I don't know. So what is that though? Require jot is this function. If token is in the request, cookies, then take it. And then if it's not, redirect it to main. If it's not, go to database, get admin token. which is just return self token. There's only 2 references. Okay. Get admin token and then return the. Okay, so this would just return the next function, which in this case would be get system information. Otherwise redirect. So this is probably not going to work. We're probably going to get redirected. So if I hit send, 302 not found, redirecting, you should be redirected automatically. Okay, so it's going to send us a redirect. So we got to figure out this. All right, so we got to find this token and set it in the cookies, is what I'm understanding. We have get resources, which was called in our form, and it's literally just taking a URL and it's going to do, is this URL bad? Where's filter? Filter's coming from util, so it's here. So filter, okay, cool. Filter is bad URL is going to return filter bad schema, which is down here. And this is going to take the URL, split it on this first colon, and return if it's in the filter bad URL schema, so file FTP local file. Okay. And what is that going to do? It is, if it is, then it's illegal, so return 500. If it isn't, just straight up read it. So there's a couple options here. That's good to know. Now, we could probably read something from the machine if we can get bypass this, but what do we need to read? Did I go through this utils file fully? I didn't. I missed this. Okay, so this is probably a good one to read. Temporary glacier.db would be a good file if we could grab it. So I'm kind of thinking this is what I'm trying. This is what this challenge is. The point of this challenge is to see if you can't get past this bad schemas call. So because I do know that we could call file and then get a local file from the machine. So let's go back to proxy because I need to know. This is the URL that doesn't 123 www.google.com. Instead of hitting enter, it just, okay, it eventually does it. So this is the format. So I want to send this to the repeater. So I'm in the repeater. This is our URL. And let's see what happens. 500 server error. So doesn't need HTTPS. Yeah, it does. So that gives me something. File dot etc.passwd. I know this is so this is a file that should be on every basically Docker container that lists who all the users of that Docker image. It's a Linux thing. So if I do that, okay, legal schema provided. So that's here, legal schema. So this got triggered file. Now, one thing I was playing around with was basically replacing the E in file with a non-UT or a not a regular E to see if that would work. Because I was playing around with it on Python and that seemed to work. Now I just gotta remember where I can get my character map from. Any of these? Here, this looks like an E, even though it's not. So I thought maybe this would bypass it. But it crashes the server. So it's probably something to do with how this is encoded. Because if I do hex 43, hex 65, right? So, okay, I'm looking over here. This E, the code is 65, whereas this E, the code is 433, 435. So they're different characters, even though they look very similar. And I think when I was playing around with Python earlier, this is valid, but this isn't the way to solve this challenge. So anyways, I spent a lot of time playing around with character encoding to figure if that was it. So I just wanted to highlight that. If I look at the bad schemes, it's basically a file, FTP in local file. I'm gonna just I kind of just took a guess that maybe, let's see if this works, because it's not gonna equal it, and maybe the Python's smart enough to just trim the empty space. So if I send that, sure enough, it worked. So I get the root. I basically get the contents of what this file is on the system, and so that's what I want to do. So now, if I do temp glacier.db, I should get the database. I do. I don't know if this is it. This looks like a jot, actually. And these are the same. These look the same. So why don't I did this differently, but why don't I do it this way? Why don't we just check it out if it is a jot? We'll put the token in here. Is admin true? Name admin. Cool. Okay. So it's not even a signed jot. I probably could have just created it. Now that I'm seeing this. Oh, that's good for next time. So if I take this and I can put it into my request cookies, add it, token, and the value. I can add it into my cookie here, and I will change this to system_info. I don't think it matters if there's something in the body. And that gave me a 200 response. Nice. And here's a whole bunch of environment variables. I'm looking for that work zook, whatever. And there it is. That's the flag. So that's essentially how I solved it. There's also another way we could have solved it. I can't remember what it was. Get resource. I was looking. You can also, on a Linux machine, I think this works. Everything is basically a file. So we could query. There's a proc folder. We can peer ourselves, and then we can get the environment variables. And this is the first time I'm doing it, but look at that, it worked. And so here, these are all the environment variables that are running under this user's. And so there's a whole bunch here, actually. This is the full, actually, this is their CTF server. Look at that. Oh, I wonder if I could have used this for some of the other challenges. Because there's a lot more environment variables than the ones I was looking at that I need. Let's see. Here we go. This is the one we're looking for, the hidden flag. So that's pretty cool, though, how we get all these other ones too. And then another thing that what I didn't do it as slickly as I just demoed. So I took this file, like now looking at it, I can see this is a jot, but at the time I wasn't sure. And so another cool thing about burp is, like, if you right click, I can copy this as a curl command, and back here in my box, I'll go up a level, and basically I pasted the curl command here. You get a whole bunch of stuff, and then I'm going to output it to a file, glacier.db. So this will run, and then I can save that file, basically all that output, into a file, and so I can manipulate that on my local system rather than burp, because I was under the impression that that was a binary, and maybe I needed to run SQLite on it. So actually, I don't know how to use SQLite. Let's see if there's a help. single dash. Read process name file, init file name. So why don't I try that? See if this works. There's something here. If I go, is this DB? What's the table? Drop table if it exists secrets. So select star from secrets. No such table secrets. Yeah, so this didn't work for me. Just gonna quit. Help, how do I get out of this? Right, I think it's this, quit. Help. Oh, okay, so it's just, no. So that didn't really work. So what I ended up doing, there's a thing called strings in Linux, and I just ran, no, I didn't do that. I did less, and I passed it R to encode it, to color encode it, and then I wanted to check out this file, glacier.db. It's going to say it's a binary, but I'm going to say yes, and this kind of gave me a nice view of this. So very similar. Oh, actually, you know what? There's a header here. So that's probably why I wasn't able to load it in SQL. I bet you if I just took this, it would have worked. That's for another video. We'll do it another time. But that is how I solved Glacier Top News. So thanks.